Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from deltacx.com. We're a full service CX and UX consultancy agency. Hey, we do projects, training, and anything you can dream of or desire. And before we get started with today's Q&A AMA, and you know we've got a special guest when I've got the headphones on. By the way, I'm so sad this company has decided to stop making headphones. I'm deeply sad. Hashtag not sponsored because you can't even get them. But I wanted to take a moment and thank all of our Patreons. Wow, our Patreon is really growing. And my thoughts are, I am just going to be the secret weapon for anybody who wants to be in the Patreon. So we've got, I think over 160 members and over 60 paid members. You can join free or paid on Patreon, totally up to you, but it's really growing and I'll just love to see the community there. And of course, we still have our Slack community and our Discords. Join those for free at deltacx.com/links. So, wow, thanks again to Patreon peeps, and let's bring on one of our favorite friends on the second Tuesday of the month. You know who that means. That means it is Dr. Nick. Dr. Nick, ahoy there. Welcome. Happy almost end of year. What you been up to?
Working really hard. Working on some AI projects, 2 interesting AI projects, which are very challenging, but really, really interesting. And the whole AI world is just going inside and out and upside down every day. So it's cool. It's mad.
So true. And just a reminder to everybody, we are live right now, and I'm waiting for someone to say hello. Usually by now someone has said hello, that they're watching live. So I want to check that we are live because now I'm all nervous. Okay, no, LinkedIn says we're live, so let's double check YouTube. But yeah,
Anna
this
Lucia?
is Anna Lucia is here. Can I just say for a moment, I know Anna Lucia gets a little silly when I start talking about how great she is, but can I just say, hi Melanie, hi Chantel P. Can I just say I had the extreme hi Amy, thanks everybody. Maybe we have a longer delay than usual.
Roll call.
Yes, thank you. Oh gosh, okay, hold on. Now I have to switch over to our new screen of what it looks like if we get too many on-screen things. So, and we'll show the question in a moment. Yeah, hi everybody. I just want to say I got to meet Anna Lucia in real life a couple of weeks ago, and she's just a beautiful person. So everybody get out there and meet the peeps from the community. Get into our Slack and into our Discord and make arrangements to meet people near you. It's safer now. We're not all going to get COVID from each other immediately. Yes, COVID is still out there and we do need to play it safe, but so great to meet people in real life. I got to meet Melanie, I think it was in May. So very excited for more of the community to connect with each other. So please remember that we are taking your questions live. Oh, hi, Barb. Barb's one of our new Patreon members as well. Thank you, Barb. Whoa, we've shapes bouncing around. How did someone do that? I don't even know how someone did that. Oops. Okay, thanks for sending our logo all over the screen. That was a good trick. Hi, Mike. So yes, we have 2 questions that we got in ahead of time. If you would like to ask Nick or I, or both of us, a question, let's see, point over here. deltacx.com/links has the anonymous way to ask a question, which will come into my email, which I'm looking at on my phone, or ask here in the chat, and you will be after our 2 questions. So the first question's already on the screen, and it was actually from last week when we had Greg Marinelli, and we ran out of time, and this one came up as like the show is closing. So it says, hi, Greg, but we'll pretend it says, hi, Nick. And so this question says, hi, how would you make the best of working in Agile as a researcher without limiting research creativity?
I love it. It doesn't, and it shouldn't. That's the simple, quick answer. I mean, it's crazy. I'm sad that you have to. I hope the person's watching this or will watch a recorded version of it. Agile is not the antithesis or the threat to creativity. It provides a structure for your creativity to thrive within. Now, if we're talking about research creativity in particular, are you talking about the breadth of methodologies or options available to you when planning a piece of research? Again, the methodology shouldn't really limit that. And I'm just thinking quickly what methodologies might be limited by Agile, and I'm trying to think of longitudinal stuff like diary studies, but none of this is affected by the fact that you've got an Agile structure in place, a delivery methodology. I don't really. I'd need you to kind of tell me in which ways you feel that your creativity or your options are maybe limited by Agile, and then maybe I could help you more with that, because I don't see the two are very complementary. One facilitates the other, if you know what I mean, or they're not enemies. That's my view.
Yeah, I think that they should be friendlier, especially if we think about Agile Manifesto Principle 1, about how we're supposed to be satisfying the customer, and let's put this over here. And they should be friends, and we should want to work from evidence, data, and knowledge. So to me, research and researchers should be welcomed. I think that maybe some of the problem is sometimes our cross-functional teammates say, well, look, we wish we knew this. So, hey, you researcher, just run us a survey. And maybe that's the research creativity they're talking about, where they're not allowed to select their own method. Oh, thank you, Big Owl. Thank you for subscribing. But I would say this is still a process problem, so I would probably want to talk with leadership and others so that we can learn more about why other people are trying to tell researchers what methods to use or how to do their job, because I don't think that is going to be the path to long-term success. Nick, anything to add there?
Yeah, also let us not forget that if we need to add some spice early on, because Agile is not really Agile anymore. We all kind of accept that, and the reason for that is usually because a product manager is not historically been any form of delivery manager. So many times Agile is applied in weird ways that may make you feel constrained or commanded, order taker stuff like Debbie is saying. That I would say that good Agile shouldn't be a problem, if you know what I mean. Maybe bad Agile, Wagile, Fragile, all the other garbage stuff.
Safe.
Maybe that's part of the problem here. Yeah. Yes. Go Deb, go.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it. So I guess I can also give myself a quick plug and just remind everybody we have chapters about this in my book, Customers Know You Suck. This is available in paid and free versions for whatever your budget might be. You can check it out at cxcc.to/CKYS, lowercase, for Customers Know You Suck. And again, we've got free versions and paid versions for however you would like to digest the book, but we have an entire chapter on Agile and then an interview with an Agile coach who is supportive of good customer experiences and their perspective as well. Our next question is one of the long stories that we sometimes get here. This one's going to be long, so good luck, Nick. I'm going to read it out loud. Get ready to take notes. Here we go. Hi, Debbie. I work as a UX researcher as part of the UX team within the product department. I temporarily work on a project in the strategy department that gained some visibility at C-level and founders on the UX research activities. Now, their personal assistant and my temporary manager want me and my other UX research colleague to organize a quarterly focus group with customers with the goal of bringing them, the founders, closer to customers and to become more customer-centric, in air quotes. We are asked to gather the founders' questions, screen and recruit participants, plan the sessions, brief and instruct the founders in 1 hour on how to moderate these focus groups, and we
Make it stop.
I know, there's more. And we UX researchers will join as observers during the sessions and report the findings. I know, it hurts. Hold on, this person tried to fight this, so we support them. I gave my reasons why this setup wouldn't generate strong evidences, insights, effect, or impact, nor would our org become more customer-centric. But the assistant and my manager keep on insisting on executing this idea and are not open to discuss alternatives or other setups. Do you have tips on how to approach or reframe it and or at the same time show people in my org how rigorous research should be done? I feel my role is being misunderstood and thus devalued. By the way, we're hiring for a UX research lead, which is currently my only hope that things may change. Thank you. Wow, I hope you can show this to the peeps. Thank you for the anonymous question. Nick, lots to digest there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Okay, that's a shit show. I mean, there's no way of spinning this up nicely. That's a very low maturity thing to do. It's also a massively, it's unfortunately very typical. Okay, so if you're watching whoever asked that question, you ain't alone on that one either. That's very, very common, but it's a real pig of a problem kind of a thing. It's a nightmare. You probably all know about not being order takers, and that's what's happening. And you can't just turn around to these very senior C-level people and go, I'm not an order taker, because you'll end out on your behind very quickly. This is a really tricky thing where in some cases you need to let the Wookiee win, i.e. you need to kind of play their game to an extent, but you can't let the failings, the insight, you can't let them do it their way, because their way, as we all know, is multi-level wrong. Like every level wrong, from the focus group to the observation to, I can't remember what, like they're probably incentivized and everything else. Just chuck in every bias you can think of that means you'll get nothing but noise and no signal, or it'll be difficult to find. What do you do about this? This is the $1 million question. Now, I'm going to tell you the way I do it, and this comes as no surprise to regular watchers. Me, I do it anyway. Okay, you do it the right way. Now, at the last 2 or 3 lines there, you said, I mean, you're completely right. Your role is misunderstood, and you are devalued. That's through no fault of your own. That's through their preconceptions.
Agreed.
Okay, not your fault. But that is exactly what's happening. Now, we've got to uncouple that, and the only way to do that is through good work and good evidence, and showing them, not telling them. They won't listen. You've got a wall of ego and preconception and attitude that you're not going to get through realistically. Okay, even me with Dr. Nick and that kind of bullshit around me, I have a hard time getting through really thick layers of that stuff. So what I do is I do it anyway. Now, you say there, do you have tips on how to approach or reframe it, and at the same time show people in my organization how rigorous research should be done? You've given yourself your own answer right there. You don't need permission. Okay, do it anyway. Now, big caveat, and I've said this before, don't do anything illegal, immoral, or unethical. Okay, just do good work. Don't wait for permission. It ain't coming. If you wait for permission, you'll be led by leaders who will lead you down the wrong path. It will get them the wrong results, won't get them the money, the insight, the profits, the cost reduction that they desperately need and want. So in order to save their asses and save your own at the same time, you have to do what I call renegade UX or rogue UX. And that means, or it's kind of Machiavellian, just to bring a kind of an Italian spin. You're doing the right thing for the organization, whether they kind of like it or not. Now, that works for me. You have to have a level of confidence to be able to do this. And if you're a junior, it's going to be a little bit more tricky. If you're a midweight, it'll be challenging but doable. Just go ahead and do the work. If you're a junior, I'm not saying don't do it. It's better if you've got somebody to back you up. If you're part of Debbie's community, have got access to advice. It's a very difficult thing to do kind of on your own. That's why seniors and leads are who they are.
deltacx.com/links. Join the community.
Sorry, up there. There we go. I've got to practice that, but there. Right. So that's what I'm saying is go ahead and do it anyway. Plan a small study. Okay. Forget the focus group. If you can do some observational work, great. I mean, I don't know what your research question is, what they're asking you to do. It sounds like market research, like what do you want to buy? What feature do we build next kind of stuff. If you can get them, see them using the app, just in day-to-day usage, like show me some typical journeys. What do you do with our thing is always great. do short, snappy interviews, or what I like, and I just posted on this stuff on LinkedIn actually. If you're going to do a 45-minute session, make it half chatty, fireside chat, sort of rapport building, get the top line pains and needs out, and then the second half, get them to demo something to you, share the screen, show you, this is what I mean, this is how I use Hermes or Every, or this is the problem I have when I'm trying to do this. I don't know your research objective. I've got no idea what they're trying to learn. But you can learn what they're trying to learn through other ways. And you get all the support through Debbie's network.
Yes. And actually, I 4,000% agree with Nick. And I made a couple of notes while he was talking. And it turns out I'm going to say something very similar, just with a couple of other spins on it, but there's no disagreement here. And Chantel will add your question to the bottom of the list, which means it will be next. Anna Lucia says the whole story around gathering the founders' questions is such a red flag. I don't think it's that terrible to collect questions from people on our team. We do that in the knowledge quadrant exercise, but we have to temper that with what it makes sense to learn, or what isn't, what's in scope to learn. You know, the founder might say, I have this idea, what will they pay for it? You know, that's not going to fly in a UX universe. So I agree with Nick, but there's a couple of notes that I made. And my first note says, your lead might not be your savior. So I know that you're excited about them hiring a lead. We don't know if they're going to hire a good person or not. We hope so. There are lots of great UX leads right now who are out of work for good and bad reasons, and we hope that they are going to hire one of these extremely talented, very experienced, good rigor people, and then empower them to do a good job. But remember, there's also, unfortunately, the chance that your company might interview for the person who doesn't make waves. I had this fight on LinkedIn the other day with a guy whose headline said, you know, experienced UX leader, and all the stuff he was writing under one of my posts was about how we shouldn't make waves and we should just say yes to everything that we're asked for and that kind of stuff. And so not everybody's a winner. So I would say we hope that this person will be a winner, but we can't guarantee it. So remember that this lead may or may not be your savior. I know many people lately who've quit jobs because of their leads. So, you know, heads up, you might have to save yourself. Number two, I wrote down as Nick was talking something that he ended up saying. I said, just run something separate. And basically, you can still do what they're asking for. And you can do, you know, you can do a phone it in job if you want. You can do an okay job. You can try to do a great job on it, whatever you want. But then I would take the same questions that these people had, or dig underneath them and figure out what's the question you really can answer with good UX research, and go do that study. Go do that study however you can. Like Nick said, observe people, have them share their screens. If you're near them, go talk to them. I remember before I was in UX, I once took a day off of work to go out and support one of our clients in a way that my boss wasn't. And I was just like, if this guy is not going to support our client the way that the person running this company should, I'm going to do it. And I called in sick and I went out and I helped our client. And later on, like a week or so later, the boss was yelling at me, you missed a day, and he gave me all this crap. And finally, I just yelled back at him and I said, I was fucking out there. I took a train from New York City to Baltimore to go fucking support our client and be there for him and do what he needed because you weren't fucking there. You know, like that was me at 21. So, so you can imagine me today at 51. So that's me. But not everyone has to be that, and not everyone will be that, and maybe you'll be happier not being that. But I do agree with Nick that if you want to show the value of UX research, then you're going to have to do a different study done well, behind the scenes, spare time, whatever it is, and be able to come back to them a few weeks or whatever it is later, a month later, and say, and by the way, in addition to these focus groups, I also ran this study to get some of your same questions answered another way. And not only did I get all of this amazing, deep detail that we didn't get in the focus groups, but we actually heard some of the opposite things that we heard in the focus groups. And I also like to remind people of all the flaws in focus groups. If you have my book, please search it for focus groups. I have pages on why they're a mess. My favorite example of why they're a mess is put me in a focus group.
Yeah.
Do you know what your focus
Me
group?
too.
Yeah. Do you know what your focus group looks like when one of our personalities shows up? It's toast. It is the single person show, and everyone in the room shuts up and just points at us. And you know what I'm saying? So, oh, and Ana Lucia says, but just the founders' questions? Why not everyone? No, of course, in the discovery quadrant, we do everyone's questions. So, Shweta, I see your question. We'll get to that after another question. Nick, anything you want to add?
Yeah, there's a really important kind of rider to that, to all of that. Go ahead and do the work anyway, as Debbie and I are suggesting, but how you present the work that you've done is equally as important as the work that you did and the insight that you raised. Okay, because you've got this layer of preconception, attitude and stuff that you've just gone renegade, and you've gone not against their will, but you've gone beyond the call of duty to showed some initiative, right, and done things a slightly different way that's got these results. If you bore them with PowerPoint to death with loads of text and loads of crap and all the terrible shit that I see, you've lost the battle. All that hard work was lost. So it's like, I don't know, spending ages baking a cake and then having and then not doing the frosting nicely. Do you know what I'm saying? You've got to present it well. Have to. That's not in your presentation skills, or that's a really important angle to this. But I mean in how you choose to convey what you did. That probably is a deck and some video, but how that looks is critically important. Your C-level aren't UX folk. They're probably not even digital folk, which means how you sell your findings, how you sell your activity needs to be quick, really low effort, like TLDR stuff, right? Big fonts. I mean, I have a saying, the Nick Fine saying is draw it in crayon. Don't literally do that because you'll get fired, but pretend that you are, right? Big letters, you know, don't make them think. I hate using that word, but you know what I mean? Don't spoon feed them in a very attractive, eye candy kind of way. Show, don't tell.
And give them actionable suggestions. Don't just give them a fire hose list of everything you heard. Make sure this is organized, high level, key takeaways, key bullet points, and what should we do about this? I find too many researchers just go, well, here's what I heard, good luck. And then they go and do what they want anyway. But you have to say, here's what we heard or saw or whatever it might be, and this is what I recommend we do about this. Be strategic. Give advice.
Make sure you end or the user need as a so-and-so, I need to do so and because of the outcome. As long as you boil that out of it, like get those things out, you're starting to educate the C-level and everybody else around you that that's what I'm there to do. That's the value. This is the good stuff. This is the stuff that we can design and plan and product from. Do you see what I'm saying? That's super important. I could talk about this stuff all day. I'm going through this right now. When I say right now, I'm working on some difficult projects that are AI that I led with. The research that's coming in that I've been doing with C-level executives has been wild and crazy, and finding and they're all paid participants, so there's all of that going on as well. The story that I'm having to tell in 3 minutes to convey this stuff it's taken me 2 weeks to do it, to craft from 6 hours of footage into 3 minutes. Now that's a real skill, and it's a pain in the ass, but it's a skill you need to have, because you end up with all this research data, you slim it down into insight and information, and then you slim it down even further into the absolute, what a previous executive creative director called the essential truth, the core of it, with nothing else around it. What's the absolutely need to know stuff? That's what works. And again, I can talk about this on end, I should shut up, but you'll end up developing different kind of research styles for different levels of maturity and different levels of presentation, different levels of C-level, because it's the work is the same, but how you present it kind of changes.
Okay, lots of advice there. Good luck. Keep us posted. Joel, we've put your question on the list, but next we have this question that came in from Chantel P. And it says, my workplace is starting apprenticeships around data literacy and analysis, and I might apply. Another UXer I spoke to said it was a waste of time, but I think it might be beneficial. Thoughts?
It's always beneficial. Always
Agreed.
beneficial. We're not talking about like qual or quant, because I'm not going down that road. But there's always a but. Being more data literate, it's just a good thing for your personal and professional lives. In our world of UX, the quant researcher, in my humble opinion, is the web analyst with their MVT boxes and all the other shenanigans that they get to play with. Being able to communicate with them on their terms and understand the same concepts is a very powerful and important angle for a UXer to have, in my humble opinion. That's my bias, I guess, my skew. I have that kind of a background because of my PhD work. You will have heard me say a lot of times and at conference that whenever I land at a gig, the first person I seek out is the web analyst, because there's a marriage there. There's like a professional relationship between the web analyst and the UX person, because we're both doing research from different angles, or we have different tools, and we're interacting with the audience in different ways. They're doing it through I was going to say through tooling, but we're all doing it through tooling these days, but they're doing it through an analytics dashboard and through experiments they're running and significance and all that good fun stuff. And we're doing it more directly with the users themselves, but together that's an amazing amount of insight right there. So get data literate, and then you'll understand things like confidence levels, significance levels, which is all language that a web analyst will be using with you, i.e. I can't get you the answer because we haven't achieved significance yet, because that journey is too far down the IA. That kind of stuff. Good stuff to know. I wouldn't overplay it though. I mean, don't become if you want, become a quant analyst, but some people aren't cut out for it. And I'm not, to be honest. So there you go.
We have an anonymous question that says no questions. So thank you to the person who sent that in. Maybe they're just testing if I actually get these anonymous questions. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, just for me to jump in on that, yes. Especially, it's just an apprenticeship. You can always try it if you get selected. And if you love it, keep going with it. If you don't love it, see if there's a way out of it. This is the kind of thing that sounds like it's something that can be undone or disconnected from if you are not benefiting from it. So yeah, why not? Why not give it a try? If it doesn't cost you anything and it could possibly give you something, and it's something that could help you stand out in your work or give you another angle on things, why the heck not? All right, next question was from Shweta, and then we have Joel's question. Shweta says, what suggestions would you have to stand out in this job market? My applications seem to be going into black holes. You and 800,000 other people.
Yeah. Deb said it. I mean, I have, unfortunately, Shweta, I'm sorry, I cannot answer. I don't know. I really don't. I'm not hiring directly. I've been in interviews recently. I mean, giving the interviews, not, you know what I'm saying? I've been hiring recently. It's a super messy market on both sides of the table. I mean, I've got friends, long-term kind of professional friends who are specialist UX recruiters who are losing their minds at the minute. It's messy everywhere. The hiring managers, the candidates, it's a mess. Standing out in this job market, I don't know. I can't say it's having an amazing portfolio, because I genuinely don't know what hiring people are looking for, because it's not what you'd think it would be. I think they're hiring for youth and inexperience, but not so much inexperience that you don't know what you're doing. It feels like a one big lowball strategy. It all feels completely random, and all I see all day on my LinkedIn feed are people saying the same sorts of questions to you. the market has shrunk massively. I think that's also a factor here. I think a lot of teams were made redundant, and maybe a lot of the places weren't opened again. I don't know. It's a horrible time to be in digital right now, especially in UX. Sorry to say that. I wish I could be more positive about it. It's a rough ride at the minute. Sorry.
Yeah, totally agree. I think that and first of all, when you say what can I do to stand out, you're making it sound like it's your fault, or my application is going to a black hole. You didn't do this. I know that Shweta is more than capable, more than experienced. I would put Shweta at senior or lead level. You are not a newbie here, but like Nick said, we're seeing that some companies don't necessarily want the more experienced person because not only might you cost more, but you might actually fight for what the user wants and needs. And I think a lot of companies right now, it's just the way the pendulum has swung. I think a lot of people want order takers and don't make waves. I think they want them in the worker bees, and I think they want them in the leadership. They want people who will just shut up and take orders. And I think that this is something everyone's facing right now. When I was applying for jobs from mid last year into spring this year, when I got offered the job I'm in now, which I got offered in early May of 2023, I barely got an interview because people, had whatever reasons they had. And very often I got a form email saying, oh, we picked people with more experience. And my thought was like, who? Don Norman? The bucket of people with more experience than I have exists. And it's a noticeable bucket. But it's not that many people. So, wow, good job then, I guess. But so we're all experiencing this right now. It's not anybody's fault. It's just the numbers. If it's like I once had a conversation with Pierre Omidyar, who invented eBay, and we had both gone to the same university. And we went to the university when it wasn't that well known. And we both got in and went to the university, and we were saying to each other, I said, I think if I applied now, I wouldn't get in. And he said, I'm sure if I applied now, I wouldn't get in. And it was just a sheer numbers thing, because over time, our university had become famous or better known because of some famous people that went there and other things and some other reasons. But now, then you all of a sudden you go from 3,000 people applying per year to 20,000 people applying per year. And we're thinking, oh, wow, we have no chance. So this is just that same kind of bucket. Shweta says there's very little UX work, and I look at job boards almost every day. Yes, I think some people have been posting to LinkedIn that salaries are down, numbers of jobs are down. People from Indeed are tracking this. So it is not just your hunch that this is happening. We know this is happening. There are fewer jobs right now, and I've just been telling people now, oh, thanks, Malika. Now is just a time to swallow a lot of pride. People might have to take jobs that are not their first choice or their preferred whatever, just to have work that will pay the bills. I'm lucky. I found a job that I really like a lot with people who are great. I didn't have to be desperate about it. I found something that was genuinely a good match. But I'm also prepared for the idea that maybe in some other universe of when I have to look for work, I'm going to pick something that I don't love that much because I need money to come in. So this might be a swallow pride time. Nick, anything to add before our next question?
The only thing I've noted down is that the current product development, the current product team configuration, it isn't working. And I think it's affecting the entire market. I think the market will pick up when, I think it has to be C-level. I don't know, but whenever we can undo the configuration problem, like when we lost project managers but never replaced any delivery capability, that's a real problem. I mean, there's no process anymore because a product manager is just kind of feature factoring it typically.
Yeah, I was just going to say, to me, when product managers stopped being strategic, that's when I think a lot of things went wrong. Because if the product manager is the sometimes fake de facto team leader or the direct line to some of the stakeholders or leadership, when they stop being strategic and when they start just taking orders and being the feature factory, then really what is the point of UX? And then the product managers go, oh shit, okay, so why am I here? I better do some UX work. I'm going to make screens and I'm going to talk to customers and, and so everybody's been trying to reinvent their jobs to whatever they think will keep them in the job. And we're all going, hello, you hired us. So, hi, Anne. And hello to the person from Bangladesh. So yeah, I think that it's a little bit out of our control right now, and that's why I'm calling so much for accountability, because we're now at the point where we have a VP from Airbnb going public saying 92% of our experiments and A/B tests are failures, but we think that's good product management. And my thought is, I have an MBA. I don't remember any classwork or conversation where we said high failure rates were great and we should welcome those and celebrate those. We're supposed to be shooting for successes. We're supposed to be looking at the root causes of failures. We're supposed to have accountability. Sure, we're not going to have zero failures, but it makes no sense to be like, a 92% failure rate is good product strategy. No, it sounds like it's the guessing lasagna and you don't even know what users want. Nick, we have a few more questions and I have to end a little early today. Can I move to the next one?
I'll just be really quick. It's like taking that lasagna or spaghetti, whatever you just said, and throwing it against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Literally.
So true.
Sorry.
No problem. I've got to leave. I've got to end a couple of minutes early because I forgot we were back to back with my Italian lesson. Okay, so Joel had posted here in the chat, I'm in the early stages of a new product idea, discover and define, of the double diamond, which I advocated for, but I can't seem to attract participants. I've been using LinkedIn to reach out, also offering $20 to $30 for their time. How would you approach not getting response from prospective participants?
Yeah. How do you make people give a damn? Like what's in it for them is the question that they're asking. This is, again, is something that's been on my mind recently because every single, of the two major participant pools out there, they are both riddled with imposters and professional, liars, basically. Attracting participants. The way that I am starting to think and to try to change things, because historically, you go to a recruitment agency, not a staffing agency, a research recruitment agency, and you give them your screener details or the screener itself and do the recruitment through word of mouth, through their networks. Historically, that's how it worked. You get to the lab at 9 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, what have you, and 5 minutes before the first person turns up, you get the list through of the people for the day. That's how recruitment has worked. But in today's world of tool-based stuff, the participants come in the machine. Now, finding participants is then you're in that gap of, if I don't have a tool and I'm not using agencies, how am I getting people? So, Joel, I don't know what your audience is. Try to offer them an incentive of like early participation, beta access, privileged access. The reason why I say that, and that's an avenue that I'm trying. Oh, and another one is merch. If you're working for that kind of a company, and that comes courtesy of my colleague Mario, it's his idea. I think it's a great idea to try for certain brands, giving away merch as an incentive. It's not the best and it's not as bad as cash. But what I'm trying to say here is that if you're incentivizing somebody by privileged access, there's much more of a chance that they are using it, if you know what I'm saying. They want to make things better for themselves, if nothing else. And that's good for us. So, try to reach out to people. The other thing that turns people off is the time commitment. And where I have won in recent years is that fireside chat or chat verbiage, language, rather than interview, depth interview, 45 minutes. When I hear, or anyone hears 45 minutes of depth interview or anything like that, or even survey, it's an instant turn off, right? But you back away. You're like, I'm not running in to do that unless you give me lots of money because I really hate it. Whereas there's something more in it for them. You know, I'm going to make my life better. I'm going to get to play with the new thing early. You know what I'm saying? That's a better hook. So that would be my approach: is try to offer them access or something that is more meaningful to them. Yeah.
I'm definitely for offering them money. I'm wondering if this money is too low. I also don't know who you're trying to recruit, and I don't know how you're doing it on LinkedIn. You can't just post to LinkedIn and go, who wants to join my thingy? I don't know if you're using a screener survey to weed people in or out. LinkedIn might show your post to 50 people, and that's definitely not going to get you the response that you need. You're probably going to have to run a screener survey some other place, some other way, and this really depends on who you're trying to recruit. So I can't say, oh, you should definitely use userinterviews.com, hashtag not sponsored. Oh, you should definitely post it to Craigslist. Oh, you should definitely put up a sign in your supermarket. I don't know the right way for you to recruit. I can only say that the money sounds low and you can't do everything on LinkedIn. The question is, who are these people? Because you don't want to recruit just breathing humans. There's got to be a specific target audience you're looking for, and if you bring in the wrong people, whether you pay them a sweatshirt or $20 or nothing, if you bring in the wrong people, then you can throw the double diamond out the window. Right, I'm moving on. We got too many questions. I love this question. I can't wait to talk about this question. So this came in anonymously, and it says, I attended a UX webinar previously, and one of the main messages is that research questions can be answered with several different methods. And while there may be some methods better than others, and even an ideal method for each situation, constraints such as time, budget, etc., make it unlikely that the research team will get to do that ideal method. Therefore, the speaker advised us to be flexible and not worry about what methods are best, but do what we can with the resources we get.
There's some truth in that, though. There is some truth. That's not completely terrible advice. Being pragmatic in our world is essential, but it's not going to move the needle or make things better. That's the problem, right? You can't just accept the tools that you're given and just check the boxes, but you're going to turn out crap. No one's going to know it. Build bad things. Not good happens, and that's not value. That's not great. But I do really understand, because I've been a contractor. I was a contractor for nearly 10 years, and you turn up different places, and they've all got different tools and different things that there's no license for that, and you can't have that, and you're not regulated to do that. So yeah, there's never an ideal method. What's ideal is that I saw on the wall of the agency, one of the agencies I worked at. It said something like that. It's a cliched saying that says the best tool is the one that you have. And there's some real truth to that. But if you've got like a hammer and you need a saw, it can be it can get messy. So what am I saying here? Kind of similar to the advice I gave earlier. This is kind of about going renegade and doing the right thing anyway. I would use their tools and use their methods if you have to, see what it turns out, but that's only one data perspective. That's one data point, or one insight source. I would then do what you want to do to try to corroborate, try to not validate, but try to find other perspectives that either support or don't support these sort of ideas that you're finding in around. Do you see what I'm saying? It's taking lots of different samples from different areas. If that means you need to go do interviews, fair play. If you've got to use SurveyMonkey because they make you use that, then so be it. But just, again, use SurveyMonkey in a short and optimal way, and don't do 20 pages and all the other cardinal sins that go on. I'll shut up and let Deb talk because she needs to get off to her lesson. I'm sure she's got a big answer. But that would be me, is do the right thing. If their tools are bad, their methods are prescribed, do your own thing, make it better.
Yeah, and my reaction to this is not that I'm disagreeing with this or that I think this is bad advice, but I'm looking for some boundaries here, because I think that this can accidentally tell people that, hey, if you're not getting what you need at your job, be flexible. Just go along with it. Just say yes to whatever people say to you. You want to do an observational study, they want you to run a survey. Be flexible, run the survey. We just had someone ask us, my company wants to run focus groups with the founders asking the questions. I think this is the wrong method. So I think that the problem is that if we go with this advice, you end up coming back on my show some other week and you go, why am I at this job where nobody is going to let me do research the way I want? So my question is, are you always asked to be flexible? Are you always told to not use the right method or not given the right amount of time? Are you ever allowed to do good work, great work? And I think that that's where I want to be careful, because while I agree that we do have to be flexible, like at my job right now, I was asked last week to test a prototype and find an answer to a growing pile of questions. Even new questions came in yesterday by this Friday. You know that I am not able to run the exact study that I would want, but I still want to answer people's questions and do the best job I can. I'm going to have to be flexible. But that doesn't mean that that's how every study I do is going to go. So what I wrote down was, we can say no. That was the slide that got the biggest round of applause when I spoke in Vienna a couple of months ago. I said, we can say no, but it's really okay. Someone says, you know what? We need to know these 15 things about user behaviors, but we don't want to give you any time. We think you should be flexible. Just run us a survey and get us those answers tomorrow. I'm sorry, but that's not the right way to get the answers you need. The survey is not going to give you the answers you need, and I think it would be better if we went with another method. Or if you think you need the answers tomorrow, we can run the survey, but what are you going to do if the survey gives you wrong information? What's your plan if the survey sends you in the wrong direction? And I also wrote flexible-disempowered. There's a difference between, sometimes you're not always going to get the time and budget and headcount and resources that you need, so we need you to be flexible, versus, are you just always disempowered? Are you, and I don't want to see researchers be disempowered, because then you're coming back to my show a few weeks later and you're going, I'm disempowered at my job, I'm not appreciated, blah, blah, just like the question we had earlier, like, hello, we're living Loki here, we're in a little time warp. Like the person saying this now is the person asking the earlier question in the future. And I wrote, are you never doing the correct method? Because again, there are times to be flexible and I forgot the word I'm looking for. It's not collaborate, compromise. There are times when you're stuck compromising and you don't want to say a total no, and you compromise like I'm doing right now at my job. I'm doing a 2-week study that I would love to be a 4-week study, but it is what it is. But after that, I get to run a 3-month study, and that's already been roadmapped and approved. So I know that I'm going to sneak this quick one in to answer some questions that people are on fire about before the American Thanksgiving holiday, and then I'm going to do a really nice full study the way I wanted, done with nobody telling me how to do it. Okay, in that case, I'm less sad about doing the weird microscopic flexible one, because I know that there's some give and take here. But if you're always giving and you never get what you need, then I'm worried about that. And I also feel like the person who gave this advice may or may not be a researcher, because I would hope that a researcher would say, keep pushing for the time you need, keep pushing for the methods you want to use, but sometimes you'll need to be flexible and compromise. But I feel like from the way that this story's been told to us, the speaker says, don't worry about what methods are best. Just do whatever. And my thought is, that's probably not good research. It's not research rigor, and it makes me think a non-researcher said it, which is why I thought maybe it smelled like Jared Spool a little bit. But I can't prove it, but I would always hope that a researcher would say, would want to remind you to keep fighting for this and not tell you, don't worry about what methods are best, because it's our job to think about the right study for the questions.
Yes.
We have two more questions that
Okay, let me just
think we're not going to get to. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be so quick. I'll be okay. First of all, good work is hard. Notes I made. Good work is hard. You have to lead yourself, even if you're a junior. Okay, you just have to. Number two, good thing to try to practice is instead of saying the word but, you say and. So you say no and, no but.
Yeah.
But apparently turns people off. But if you say no and, it doesn't. Use at your own discretion, and know when to not push. If you're pushing back against somebody senior like that, make your case, say there's a better way of doing it, but don't overdo it, because then you will get yourself into hot water.
All right, thank you. The next question is directed at you, so I want to make sure we fit it in. The question after that, I'm worried we're not going to get to. That person might want to contact me privately. The one we might not get to is the question about voice of the customer program. If you can contact me privately, I will help you personally, but I think we're not going to get to that question today, and I might have to cancel next week's show because I'm going to be on vacation, and I can't guarantee that I'm going to have internet, so we'll see if I have internet. Nick, this question's for you. Is there any AI-related topic, such as prompt engineering, that you'd suggest learning? Also, would you be willing to share your experiments and research with AI? How'd you make it work?
Okay, the short answer is today, it doesn't work. I can't use it. I've been doing all the work manually. It's completely broken. Claude and GPT are lying consistently. They're hallucinating so badly. I cannot use them at all. They have no value. They've regressed. Don't know why. I would be willing to share all of my experiments. Just know that at the moment, all the prompts that I've engineered all fail badly, right? Because the underlying technology, the underlying models have somehow changed in ways that I don't know and I can't learn how. I have been invited to talk, to run a workshop for Rosenfeld Media in New York in March, and I am going to be doing a full AI 6-hour session then. So as soon as tickets for that go on sale, I would absolutely encourage you to do that, and I will literally share everything, all my work that I've done, all my experiences with it, and also researching in AI. I'm currently lead researcher, or the sole researcher, on 2 very bleeding edge AI projects at Adaptivist. So I'm full of AI, and it's all broken, which sucks. So yeah, I would be more than willing to share it, but there's nothing I could share with you today that would be of any value to right now. If there's any time at the end, I will share my screen and show you a chat with Claude about me saying, I told you to double check it, and he goes, I did, and go, but then you lied. And I said, I'll put it on LinkedIn or somewhere. It's comedy. It's so broken. So nothing to see here for the time being until the underlying models resolve or get fixed.
Yeah, and the only thing I can add to that, and then we're going to have to go, is I've just dropped in our YouTube thing. We did episode, it's on our new channel, CX-CC on YouTube. We did episode 206, AI and UX, Managing Expectations and Implications. And we had 2 wonderful AI experts with us, 2 people working in AI for, I think, over 14 years. They're from, I think, Ohio. I met them at a dev conference in May, and I just fell in love with them. I loved their talk, and they were nice enough to be on our Google Meet free webinar about it. I would suggest watching that. The link is in the YouTube chat, or just go to YouTube and write CX-CC, which is the new channel, and then just write 206. It's episode 206. You'll find that. We even ask them, why does AI hallucinate? And why does AI give you wrong answers when we expect it to give us right answers? And they knew everything. They knew everything. So go listen to Jordan and Robert, because they knew, Jordan PhD and Robert, they knew all the things. And so I love watching Nick's reports on this stuff. I'm mostly staying out of it. I mess with Claude a little bit, but then I have to fix a lot of what Claude's done. Mostly right now, I'm just using Claude. I feed Claude a transcript from our webinars, and I say, give me some bullet points, and then I write an article around it, but I still have to completely rewrite everything so that it sounds like me, and it doesn't say design thinking, because Claude keeps adding in, and Debbie recommends design thinking, and I'm always like, oh great, my career is over. So Claude is definitely adding stuff that was not in the transcript.
And you know what? I trained both of them to sound like me with LinkedIn posts, and even when it recreates it, it doesn't. It sounds like a machine. It ain't me. So
Claude tried to write like me, and it sounded like 1970s blaxploitation movies, and which I don't think I sound like, and then I said, no, go watch my YouTube channel, train on me. And then Claude wrote this really thoughtful thing. It said, oh, you're funny and witty and to the point, and you challenge stuff, and you care about critical thinking. And I was like, wow, Claude gets me. I feel seen. And then I said, okay, rewrite this article in my style. And it gave me 70s blaxploitation, American slang. And I was just like, okay, I don't get this. So yeah, to me, Claude is nice for a couple of bullet points about my YouTube videos, and other than that, I just don't trust it. We have to wrap up. Dr. Nick, where can everybody find you?
I'm on LinkedIn, but these days I spend my life in Figma and in DaVinci, editing and doing getting all of my insights and show reels together. DaVinci's great. I mean, we can talk about it another time, but like I'm making show reels and basically got my salesman hat on. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not there very much these days. I try to get on at lunchtime to post something, but I'm really busy, so it's not a priority. But try to get me there. Otherwise, I'll see you here next month.
Yes, for sure. I should be here, but we'll talk about that. So again, everybody, please join our Patreon, patreon.com/CXCC. I'm using that instead of a mailing list and other stuff. Subscribe to the new YouTube channel, CX-CC, where we're doing much broader topics than we did on the Delta CX channel. And of course, check cxcc.to/events, where we've got all of the gong. We are running out of time. Where we have all of our, I have that auto-programmed. Where we have all of our upcoming events. We've stopped our free webinars for the calendar year because y'all are too busy with, holidays and such. But we're going to start them back up again in mid-January with a special visit from Tom Kerwin. So make sure you are checking all of that out. Remember, if you want ongoing help and mentoring and lots of love, please join our Slack and Discord communities. I am there personally trying to help people out as much as I can. The rest of the community is there trying to help each other out as much as we can. So please join there. I'm going to play us out of here in silence and with fire. Nick, thank you so much again. And I've got a couple of shows. I hope you'll do some free webinars with us next year, and I'll contact you privately about those topics. Thanks, everybody. Bye.